So let's continue the conversation right now before our next guest with a little That's What He Said, which is going to be starring Commissioner Manfred for what he went over. So I felt like we, as a group of us three, kind of went over the thoughts to the playoff format already. But here, you got multiple choice. Kratz, I'll let you choose. You want to talk next about potential of shrinking pitchers on roster, the update on Vegas, Billy Epler's Phantom IL that everyone does, or the pre-tech baseballs? Pick a category, and we'll go to that one next.
Pitcher shrinkage.
Okay, pitcher shrinkage. Great. Great title for YouTube. 13 pitchers to 12 is the potential. And quote from Manfred, the way that pitching is being used right now has caused a diminution in that star kind of quality from some of our starters. And I do think it's an issue that we should talk about. There's a lot of fans who feel like the change from what's today's pitching matchup to who's the opener today has been a positive. We went to 13. I don't think it's had the desired effect. There are a few numbers smaller than 12, but that change would not come as soon as 2024, just for everyone to know. It looks like just for next year, it'll be kind of smaller tweaks. But also, you're shaking your head. I just understand Are they going to just option more pitchers too?
It just caused more. I just don't understand. Yeah, there'd be more of a shuttle. It'd be more of an up and. I just don't understand why the commissioner can tell you how many people you want on your team. If I want 9 position players, and I want 17 pitchers, and someone gets hurt, and I got to use what?
Because teams bullpen and it's boring.
But that's their prerogative. I don't understand why we can decide how many pitchers and players we can have on a team.
You can do anything. You can decide how many pitchers or how many position players should be on each side of the field. How many position players should be on the grass.
Aren't we a little bit too reactive in this job? Oh, one person complains. Oh, no more shift, which I'm all for the shift because I want to see balls in play be hits and I want to see more action. But let's do this and let's do that. It's like we're always, the postseason format. Let's change it because it's the 100-win teams haven't won. The other teams are hot. What do you want to? I mean, it happens. It's been 2 years of it though. Let's give it some time. Let's just not be like, one person complained on Twitter, so we're going to change all the rules again. I mean, just when we get used to it, it's like the ghost runner, or as Kratz calls it, the zombie runner. The zombie runner on second. The ghost runner is better, but the zombie runner. Well, I mean, come on. We had it the whole year. Now we're going back. I don't know. And I'm not the old man on the lawn because I like some of the changes, like the no shift
that's
and all that.
That's progressive to want the man on second and extras.
Yeah, I want if you play this way the whole year, why do we change it now? The most important games of the year.
You're preaching to the choir. I like it. Most fans despise it, I guess, or at least I'm crowdsourcing like MLB is by looking at people that complain the loudest.
Well, let's get back to the shrinkage with pitchers here. This is I don't understand. Every other league is trying to figure out ways to help people stay healthy, and they're going to bring 12 guys instead of 13, so they're just going to keep breaking more and more pitchers. I think this is total just stop. Cut the marionette cord. Stop trying to make it the game that you want to make it. We got to put the players over here, and then we got to make sure they're over here so that this idea of what we think the game, we at the commissioner's office think the game should look like, let the teams play the games and look at what's happened. We have a team that absolutely bashes home runs and a team that steals bases. They can hit homers too. I think that's a bad narrative to have all the time, but let teams create the type of baseball that they want to create. If they want 14, 15, if they want a AAA roster of 9 position players and 4 catchers on their team, let them do it. Let the teams create it to make it the most competitive that they can make it. Not what we think, is the most appealing product on the field.
It brings more creativity too when you can play with your roster more by having different numbers of different players. For me, you can play with your roster more. You can get more creative. It makes the utility guy more valuable. It makes a Ben Zobrist. It makes a guy like that can play a bunch. Denny Hawking that can play all over the field.
Shohei
Ohtani. But is he considered a pitcher? So you lose one. Since he's a pitcher player? Is he considered a pitcher? So they have to have an extra roster. Do you see what I'm saying? So they have to have one less starter, but they have to have one less pitcher, but they have to have an extra starter. So it messes up. you see how that another problem with Shohei? I mean, not that there's a
Should
lot
be
of
a
them.
good problem. That
It
you
is a
have.
good problem.
I
But
would
do you see what
wanna-
I'm saying?
Yeah, and
if he's considered a pitcher,
yeah,
then that's one less pitcher the Angels can have on their roster. And then plus they already have to carry an extra starter because he's a 6-day, they use a 6-man rotation. That really narrows your bullpen down.
my thing is there a solution though, Kratz? So the one thing I do agree on is when I look at a starting pitching matchup and I see those big names, that does make me want to go to that game. You know, like if I see Scherzer versus Verlander, I'm like, cool. As opposed to, oh, it's the Rays and Giants, and they're just throwing 9 names at you, and half of them were in the minor leagues yesterday. Like, it's not sexy. It's not good marketing for the sport. So I agree, this isn't necessarily the right way to do it, but is there a right way to do it? You can't just say, oh, you got to teach the players not to worry as much about velocity and blowing out for 5 innings. Okay, well, it's been a while. That's not working.
No, that's not going to happen. But my thing is, from a commissioner's standpoint, from the MLB office standpoint, like, so you're telling me that because, let's see, who opened a lot of games? Anderson, was it Ryan Anderson opened a ton of games for the Giants?
Sean Anderson?
No, that was Sean Armstrong with the Rays. He was, anyway, whoever it was, maybe it was Sean Anderson with the Giants, opened a lot of games. They were still bringing bulk guys behind, and you're not going to get, like if you're telling me that because an opener is coming out for the first inning, less people are coming to the stands because, you know, Ross Stripling isn't starting. I don't think, like, you can't have Max Scherzer versus Zach Gallen every single night. You can't have Blake Snell versus Clayton Kershaw every night. So who really cares if it's an opener? I don't think that messes with anything. And if you drop it down to 12 pitchers, teams are just going to do more AJ Preller stuff anyway, where you're going to have investigations into manipulating. Hey, good job. You did a great job, but you just threw the last 2 nights and we need someone else to come up. You're on the shuttle. Like, they didn't do anything with the options. They didn't do anything. Yes, they said, five times you're allowed to be optioned up and down. That is a ton of times to move up and down throughout a season. Like, I think there's more negative in having an opportunity for guys to get hurt when you have less pitchers.
Is there a solution, or are we just going to have a billion pitchers always?
I mean, 13's not a billion. That's half the roster.
No. I'm okay. I'm actually rephrase. Is there a solution to try and get more marquee starting pitching matchups in our game where you know who the starters are? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to promote that without trying to tweak rules that cause injuries and just create other loopholes?
Where you develop better pitching.
Yeah,
right.
But
that was my first thing. How do you do that? That hasn't happened.
You start at the lower levels and you develop guys into being starting pitchers instead of give me max effort for 3 innings, 4 innings, and piggyback them with another guy for 3 or 4 innings. Like you say, all right, 7 innings is important. Get me to the 7th, and we'll go from there. That used to be kind of,
But
12,
teams aren't doing that.
I understand that.
But the commissioner can't do anything. He can't make a rule to make him do that.
If he liked it, he would. If I feel like he can do whatever he wants at this point. He's making all these other rules he wants.
I don't know how you make a rule, though.
No, I'm just saying, but you asked how you get starting pitchers to be a bigger deal and bigger names.
Yeah.
You develop more true starting pitchers.
No one can do it, though.
What? They did it for 125 years.
But then it stopped.
Because
you guys have kids that are playing competitive ball.
I know.
You see it.
They can do it. They don't want to do it. That's the biggest difference. The Astros back in 2015 or 16 in the minor leagues, they were doing all piggybacks. 5 days of 10 starting pitchers, and then a couple bullpen guys mixed in the minor leagues. All their levels. So that was their choice. Like, they didn't want to do it, whether they did or not. And out of that, Lance McCullers came out of that. And what year they finished that kind of stuff, I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, teams don't want to do it because they are afraid of injuries. Well, that hasn't subsided. I think it's gone up, but I don't know the numbers on that. And B, they think that there is a value there in throwing the ball a billion and just hit the strike zone instead of hitting areas. I think you see the ability for the Diamondbacks to get as far as they have. Yes, they have guys that throw really hard, but they have guys that are able to attack areas. And the guys who haven't been able to attack areas in this really microscopic series, because everything is really just, it's watched and it's analyzed and everything, it's showing. The pitchers who can locate pitches are the ones that are most successful. Max Scherzer talked about it in his pregame press conference, or yesterday's press conference before today's game. He said it's about it, like, this is still just about location and pitch selection. And
Okay.
that's what you got to teach.
Yeah, it's just tough to enforce. That's the problem
We're
here.
trying to enforce everything now.
It's not about the commissioner enforcing that. Go do something else.
That's organizations. That's
Okay.
organizational philosophy.
So let me give you the other few here. So let's move to the baseball. Manfred said he would grade MLB's attempts to create a different pre-tacked baseball a C-. That's actually surprising. Like, I'm glad that they gave themselves a C-.
But I'm surprised they can't come up with one. Japan has one. Korea has one.
You guys got to call someone at the league office.
I just don't
like,
understand why this is this hard.
Ibanez on. You guys got to call one of those guys. I just want to know, like, more specifics. I mean, he gave us a little bit. He said, quote, "We thought we had a pretty good model last year. It got gummy, the baseball, when it got hot. We went back to the drawing board on it." And then this was in the Athletic article by Evan Drellick. He said, "By design, a ball would not be mudded in the same way as the current baseball. That creates a separate problem. Even if they could get the tackiness right, the hypothetical new ball would likely be bright white, which would be an advantage to hitters." That part I don't give a shit about.
Come on.
That's over managing.
That's overthinking.
Yeah.
That's fake hustle.
I don't give a shit about that. That's ridiculous.
To me,
also, advantage for hitters, fine. If there's a half a run per game more in baseball next year, I think we'll all be okay.
I want to know the inner workings of it. Are they not willing to go to the ball that the tacking system that the Japanese ball uses because they're trying to go with one of their buddies? Are they, is there any kind of like business politics going on in this where they're trying to
Always. It's always
there is.
Always. Come on.
So then let's just get it right.
I agree. Before we can figure this out. This literally is not rocket science. It's
not
a baseball.
that hard.
Put some sticky stuff on and make it equal for everybody, and the pitchers will figure it out.
I know, but it's been way too. This should have been figured out 10 years ago.
I agree,
This
but
is
they don't
insane.
want to. Yeah, okay. And the other one, I don't know if you're going to get to the Olympic thing.
Yes.
I wasn't going to, but did you
No,
want to?
I want to talk about this because I think
Okay.
this is a big deal. So in 28, the Olympics come back to baseball because the Olympics are America-based, LA, right?
America.
So they're like, we want MLB players to play in it. Well, when are the Olympics?
Summer.
We're going to stop the MLB season?
No, we're not.
So this is, I mean, I would love to see it. Yeah, but is Rob Manfred going to give up that month?
Is anybody on? Are the players going to? I mean, some
Well,
will go.
Japan
some
did.
won't. It's not happening.
I agree, but I think
I don't even think it's worth talking about because there's no chance.
I know, but I think if we want to promote the sport and we want the World Baseball Classic, basically on the world's biggest stage, one time you can do it. You can make an exception one time.
Okay.
I feel like you can do it. And if someone gets hurt, someone gets hurt. I mean, they might get hurt.
Well, you have to get insurance, and I'm sure the Olympics won't pay for the insurance because
No.
I don't know if you've looked up the Olympic Committee, but they're not. They don't play by the rules. The Olympic Committee and FIFA, they're best friends.
I was going to say FIFA. I mean, hockey does it. Hockey does it. Soccer does it.
Here's the biggest thing. Yes, they could stop the league. Who owns the WBC?
Well, MLB. That's why it's in spring training.
Who owns the Olympics? A bunch of crooks, also.
Hey, I'm not saying it, but hey, if the MLB, that's why they left it open. If the MLB gets a little kickback, they'll be like, yeah, we'll think about it.
And PA would say, pay for everyone's insurance. You know, my dudes.
They do. There's insurance. When I went to the qualifiers for the Olympics, I love Olympic international baseball. Is some of the most. It's playoff baseball for me, and then international baseball is phenomenal.
How long would they actually need off though? 2 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks, you think, for the whole Olympic tournament? Because they would
Yeah.
have to, but everyone's in the shape. They're in shape at that point.
Yeah, you don't have to get ready for it.
No,
It's just you have to
and I
take
think
off.
the games will be less than 3 weeks, but you'd have to get everybody out to LA and have at least like 3 days together as a team.
I don't see it. I'm just telling you. I
No,
think
I
it's
think it
way
would be
too
great for the
complicated.
game. I don't know how it could work, but I think it'd be
I-
awesome if you're
Yeah.
running the true teams out there. Like even the WBC isn't the true teams, but there's no excuse in the middle of August. Everyone's hot. I mean, unless you're hurt, but everybody's hot. Everyone's in. It's like they're doing talking flag football. I mean, I know that's in the off season, but the NFL is going to run out their dudes.
Are they?
They're talking about like Tyreek Hill and these guys are like, I want to play.
That'd be sick.
Right? Like that's going to press the forward button on fans watching.
Mhm.
I mean, no offense to college kids or even minor league guys, but you put the stars of the stars in the Olympics, which everyone says, I will play for USA. I want to play for USA. I want to, oh, wait, no, I don't really want to play because it's WBC. But the Olympics, I don't know. I think it'd be unbelievable, but it won't happen.